Welcome to another episode of A Bad Idea for Podcast. Today I have a really special guest. But before I introduce him, we need to do A Bad Idea of a Podcast introduction. Okay, so it's time to receive the all-time scoring leader of the ELF, the all-time rushing leader of the ELF, the reigning, undisputed, undefeated champion of the ELF, the most versatile star in the league, Glen Toonga. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, man? I love that introduction. That was a really cool introduction. I like that. Let's see what goes.
Appreciate it, man. How you doing? How's the days after winning your first championship in the ELF?
I think I'm still spending those days kind of still soaking it in. Sometimes I wake up and it feels like it's a normal day, but then I remember that, like, we're champions. So I feel like I'm still soaking it in. Not celebrating as much, but still kind of, reliving the days and still happy about the result, happy about the season. Um, and then also like readjusting to life back in London. So I moved back to London now. So kind of trying to do both. But yeah, no, it's been good. It's been really good. I can't complain at all.
Nice. Because everyone know you from last year's Hamburg Sea Devil. Everyone knows in the LF like the threat that you've been in the backfield, right? But how much does that Glen change from Hamburg to this year's Glen in Rhine?
It was a little different. So I feel like this year took a little bit of adjusting, obviously because I joined the team late. So I had to figure out my role in the team. I feel like last year my role in the team was kind of obvious. So this year, having so many good players around me, having so many good coaches around me, I kind of had to figure out my role and just be ready to do my part to win the championship. So I feel like at the start of the season, it was a lot of like figuring out my role, building chemistry with the guys. Because again, because I came late, a lot of that chemistry gets built up in the preseason, I think, and because I missed a lot of that, it just took a bit of time to build chemistry with the guys and figure out what makes them tick and how to I guess conversate or interact with them, how they like to do that, and the coaches to figure out their language, like the language that they use, how they like to interact with players too. But then yeah, after that it was fine. For after that it was perfectly fine. I feel like I found my role in the team and I built a relationship with all the guys individually. So that was super cool.
How important was Coach Tom Sula for you this season? Because at the beginning of the year, he spoke about the situation that you have off field, right? And he said everyone deserves to have a second opportunities. And Glenn is a young player who make a mistake but deserves a second opportunity. So how important was like the figure of Coach Tom Sula for you and your development for this year?
It was great. I feel like everyone's scared of Tom Sula, but I feel like we needed that, especially when you're 8-0 and you're 10-0 and then you're 12-0. I feel like that fear of him helped keep us in check. He's a really great guy, and we have really good conversations, and he'll check up on us and see how we're doing. But I feel like you really needed someone that had a presence, had that made us afraid of him. So when he would speak, everyone's listening. When he would say something, everyone's listening. We took him very seriously. So I feel like in order to have the season that we had, it's not possible without someone like Tom Sula.
Yeah.
So he was definitely important of keeping us in check, keeping me in check, keeping all the other guys in check, and just keeping us level. Because it's easy to go 12-0 and all of us. And he would tell us all the time. I bet everyone feels real good right now. Everyone's getting loads of love right now, but he's gonna be the guy to keep us in check. He's gonna be the guy to make sure that we're not big headed, that we're not getting carried away, and that we stay focused on what we're really trying to do. He would tell us that great, we have this record and that record, but no, that means nothing if you don't win.
Yeah.
He would tell us right now, those records don't mean nothing until after, you've won the season, you won the championship game. So he was super important in doing all of that.
And at the beginning of the season, do you imagine like joining a team this powerful and that you're going to end up the season undefeated?
Um, no, again, back to Thomas, so he would always tell us to take 1 week at a time. And I thought we saw some games throughout the season where some teams that you didn't expect to win any games would beat a team or were very close to beating like certain teams. I feel like even seeing that always kind of reminded us like, hey, like, anything can happen on any week, against any opponent. So for us, it was just important to take 1 week at a time and, to always win one week at a time and go 1-0, we would say each week. And then next thing you know, win the championship game and the same rules apply, just win this game, just go 1-0, how we've done each week. So yeah.
And you spoke about the records because, as any coach will say, and Coach Tomsula mentioned it, it doesn't matter the records that you have if in the end you doesn't win. But
Right.
for you personally or professionally for you, how do you feel about getting like the all-time leading rushing leader and all-time scoring leader for you? How was it?
Um, Obviously when it happens, I'm like, oh damn, that's super cool. I take like a little moment to celebrate, a little
Yeah.
moment to kind of reflect. But then after, it's back to business. I feel like Tom Sula made a good job of reminding us that, like, hey, having all-time leading touchdowns and having all-time leading rushing records, that's great. But at the end of the year, you don't want to have to tell the story like, hey, I had all these records, but I didn't win. It's nice to win and then be able to say that that creates a better story. So that really helps me, stay centered, stay grounded. And now I'm like, okay, yeah, that's really cool. On top of being a champion, I have all these titles too. But it honestly wouldn't really matter if you don't win a championship. So because someone's gonna come and break my records, someone's gonna come and take those new titles, but no one can come and take away 2023 championship. So that was always like the bigger goal.
How you and the guys in the locker room manage the pressure? Because at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of the season, everyone says the team to be defeated in order to become champion is the Ryan Fire. Everyone says that. Okay.
Yeah.
Personally, at the beginning of the season, I was a little bit reluctant because I was, I don't know, could be, but I mean, I have my chips put on Vienna Vikings because they were the
Yeah.
defending champions, right?
Right.
But
Right.
everyone says you need to look out to rain. You need to look out to rain. How do you guys manage the pressure to have, you know what? Everyone says that we're gonna win. Now we need to
Yeah.
perform, right?
Honestly, I think we just didn't really talk about that much. Like the locker room was always just like a fun place, a place for vibes, a place for us to, I guess, almost get away from all of that. Um, Sometimes guys will make jokes about it, but I think for the most part, we didn't really speak about it, to be honest with you. We didn't really speak about, guys wanting to take us down. Um, if anything, we spoke about, especially towards like the back end of the season, we kind of took pride in being the ones to, to end people's seasons and to knock guys out. Because when it gets close to the end of the season, those games become super important. So we really spoke about, just winning and defeating people, but we never really spoke about, oh guys, we have to be careful because people are trying to knock us out. Like we didn't
Yeah.
really see it from that perspective, even though it's the same thing. We didn't really see it from that perspective.
Nice. Yeah, because I can imagine the pressure that you have week in, week out, because everyone said we need to defeat the Ryan. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it, right? And then during the season, you become viral, if quote unquote viral, because you've been part of two of the most, I will say, talk about plays of the season. The first one against Frankfurt when they pull off your hair,
Yeah.
and the second one when you leap off Stuttgart search defender. How do you
Yeah.
feel about that you become viral?
Uh, it, so the hair one was kind of funny because literally everyone saw it. Like my mom saw it. she had people from her workplace
Don't
send it to
touch my
her.
kid. Don't touch my kid like that, right?
Exactly. That was literally it. And then like my sisters had seen it and everyone's asking me like, oh, like blah 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 blah, seeing all the comments. So that was kind of funny. Like it was kind of funny. At some points it got a bit too much. I was like, okay, I'm kind of over this now. Like it is what it is. Um, and then like the hurdle like was pretty cool because I was pretty proud of that. That's probably like I think my best play ever in my career.
Yeah.
Um, so that was like super cool. That was like really cool to see that go viral too. But it didn't go as big as viral as the hair pulling,
Yeah, yeah, of
which
course.
I'm kind of sad about. But yeah, it is what it is really. Like it's great, but yeah, I kind of just it is what it is.
Yeah, because I mean the hair play also was featured on ESPN in the US, right? So
Yeah,
everyone
yeah, it
knows
was
you from like,
everywhere.
oh, you're the guy from that get pulled from the hair, right? So
Yeah,
it's kind of funny, but yeah,
yeah,
as you mentioned, I think the most impressive play was the leap off because it was really like a show of athleticism or your athleticism because also you were
yeah,
preparing it like 1 week or 2 weeks before, right?
yeah, yeah. So like me and my friends back home used to because when first started playing, I always used to speak about how I want to jump over someone, and they used to make fun of me because I would always try and it would never work out. So it got to a point where I just wouldn't jump over people. And then I think it was against Frankfurt, our
Yeah.
last regular season game. I did it, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I can actually do this. I can make this work."
I can pull
So
it
and
off.
then,
Yeah.
right, I can put off. In fact, it was before that against Munich away. I did it against Munich and it worked then. I was like, okay, I can do this. I have the athleticism to do it. I just needed the confidence. So I think like Munich, I did it. Frankfurt, I did it. Um, Frankfurt in the playoffs, I did it. So like slowly I was building confidence. And then now it's like, okay, I can do this. I just have to be sure that like he's gonna go like for my knees, for my ankles. And
Yeah.
once I made that decision, I was like, okay, yeah, I can do this. So
Toonga with the leap. Toonga stays on his feet, and Toonga goes all the way to the house to surely seal the deal on a Rhine Fire championship. Even his quarterback can hardly believe it.
it's kind of like when you have like you ever played like a Pokemon game
Yeah.
and then like your Pokemon gets a new move and then the more they do the move, the stronger the move gets.
Yeah.
That's how like I kind of think about it. It's like a new move that I've unlocked. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
And you pull it off perfectly, to be honest. It wasn't like an amazing play and ended up with a touchdown. Glenn, walk us through how you changed from playing in the UK and now playing in Germany. How different is the level between countries?
um, so I think the biggest thing, especially during my first year, the biggest thing that stood out to me was the game day. So in the UK, not many people come to our games. Maybe we have about 30 people, maybe 50, but you wouldn't never touch 100. So I think going from that, and then my first, it was like a friendly game actually at Dresden, and we had like 3,000, 4,000 people. That was like eye-opening to, oh wow, this is a big deal. Um, so I think that's the biggest thing. In terms of actual play, I think the biggest thing for me, I think, is just the level of football. I think in the UK we have amazing athletes, we have big, fast, strong guys, but I think what we're missing out on, especially what the Germans get, is a chance to play around imports, a chance to play around guys who have played in the NFL or guys who have played at top D1 colleges, a chance to get coached by former NFL coaches, former D1 coaches. And I think that just makes the game a bit more complex. That just makes your football IQ a little bit higher. And so the level of football um, is a way more advanced. So I think that's like the main difference between the UK and playing in the ELF. I think it's just the level of football, like the concepts that we ran this year
Yeah.
were very complex. The plays that we ran, the play calling, like we really ran an NFL pro style offense. Whereas I think in the UK, it's way more simpler. Um, the play calling is way more simpler. So I think for me, yeah, it's mainly that just the level of football, the football IQ that happens in the field.
Nice. And what do you think that the American football community here in Germany and in UK, well, in general in Europe, can do to become better at it? Because everyone knows that the NFL is the top league in the world, and then probably you have the CFL. But where do you put Europe, or how can you think that the American community helped to grow the sport here?
Honestly, I feel like there's nothing new that could be done. I think maybe, I think it's happening now already. You know, there's more kids are becoming introduced to the sport a lot earlier. So now there's a lot of like flag teams. There's a lot of schools who do like play flag football. Um, but other than that, I don't think that there's anything new that we can do. In the UK, I think it's a little bit different. In the UK, I think that the sport needs to first become professional so that like guys get access to the level of coaching,
Mm-hmm.
get access to being around, playing around imports. But yeah, in Germany, in terms of Germany and other places in Europe, I think that like things have already been done and that it's just really a matter of time. I think that's the only thing that it's just taking time. So those kids who have been introduced to football earlier, their football abilities by the time they get to my age will be higher, or they'll have more opportunities to play abroad, or the ELF would have grown and become a bigger sport. So yeah, I think the main thing is just time, really.
Okay. Now we're entering like almost the final part of the podcast. And Glenn, how do you see yourself in 5 years? Because now you achieve, and probably like at least on my point of view, you achieve like everything that you can achieve in the ELF. Become a
Yeah,
champion, you have an undefeated season, and of course you're
yeah.
going to be in the history books. You're the all-time leading rushing leader. And what else? How do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years in the game, I'd love to be involved in still be involved in football, but more like off the field stuff. So at the moment, I'm a strength and conditioning coach, so
Uh-huh.
I'd love to have developed that. But I'd also love to have to be involved in like of the operational side of things in football because I feel like I have the experience, I have the knowledge. I've played in football in Europe for a while, so I'd love to be involved in like the operational side of things. Um, Whether it's working with one team or multiple teams in terms of like the game day events, looking after imports,
Yeah.
working with sponsors and building relationships. I'd love to be involved in that side. So still be connected to football, but just I guess I won't be playing anymore in 5 years. So I'd love to still be around the operational side of things
Yeah.
and be working with more athletes and have grown as a strength and conditioning coach. So yeah, that's
Okay.
the aim for 5 years.
Like sharing your knowledge and your experience with the younger generations. That's nice.
Right, right,
That's nice.
right. Have that be like an actual job. So yeah.
Nice, nice. Man, now you know the name of the podcast is a bad idea for podcast, right? So for the
Yeah.
last 2 minutes is the 2 minute warning. So you need to share with us a bad idea that in the end becomes what turned out to be a good idea.
Okay. Um, Bad idea. It wasn't voluntary, but I think a bad idea that I had, or something that happened that was bad, was not playing in the CFL.
Okay.
I think that worked out. Um, I think so. I had the CFL draft in 2021, and I think because I didn't get selected for that, I ended up playing at Allgäu Comets. And because I ended up playing at Allgäu Comets, I had good film to go and play at Hamburg Sea Devils because I felt like if I went to the CFL, I wouldn't have had good film. Realistically, I feel like a lot of European guys who go to the CFL, they
Yeah.
don't play that much, so the film isn't great. So I think because I had great film, I was able to go to Hamburg, and then from Hamburg, I was able to go to Rheinfall, and then
And
Rheinfall
now
won the
it's
championship. Right.
pretty
But
tough.
otherwise, I feel like if I went to the CFL, I would have probably spent a lot of time on the bench because in the CFL,
Yeah.
they have a lot of Americans who play at running back, so I wouldn't have had that much game time. So that was, I think, a bad idea that worked out to be a
Yeah.
very big positive in the end. So
Nice.
yeah.
Congratulations on that one. Congratulations on that bad idea for you. And
Thank you.
finally, man, I have this idea like going around my head lately. Do you imagine a championship game, round robin between the ELF champion from Mexico, the ELF, the LFA champion, the ELF, the champion from the CFL or probably the XFL, and the Japan champion. Do you imagine that?
Yeah, so I feel like it would be super cool, and I'm not sure about the details about when it would happen, the rules, but it would be super cool to be able to play like other champions in non-American leagues.
Yeah.
So it'd be really cool to play like, say, a champion or a really good team in the X League, a really good team from the Mexican League, to play a CFL team. I feel like that would be like really good. I don't know how it would happen. I don't know the logistics or what the rules would be or when it would happen, because obviously we have seasons at different times, but it would be really cool to, I guess, make the game more global.
Yeah.
And be able to just to see how we compare to these other leagues, because everyone has their own opinion, right? Some people might say the ELF champions are better. Some people might say the X League is better. So that would be super cool to really go up against like the best from another league and see how we match up against them and see how that would be. So yeah. I like that idea. I think that would be super cool.
Yeah, because I had in my head, I said like, what if we put all these champions together and face it? Will be really cool, but we'll see.
Even if it's like a mini tournament, right?
Yeah.
And have a small tournament, maybe 1 week long, and we just play loads of different games and we see how that goes. So that would be super cool. Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, that will be an amazing idea, man. So
need to make it happen, man.
Yeah, I mean, I
need to make it happen.
Yeah, I need to speak with some contacts in Mexico and then with some people here, but we'll see. We'll see. Could be a good idea. Yeah, to be honest.
I agree. Yeah.
Nice, man. I need to thank you really much because you have like a really cool vibe. You are a really cool dude, and amazing people, and even greater performer and athlete. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining a Bad Idea for podcast today, and I wish you the best.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. It was really fun. It was really interesting.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me, man. This was fun.
Yeah,
I appreciate you having me. This was dope.
Thank you so much. Keep enjoying London and keep enjoying the nice weather right now.
Perfect. Thank you very much, man. Thank you.
See you around, man.
You too. Bye.
Thank you.